Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of CyberCast. Today, we have a new host joining us.
Hello.
Okay. And our guest for today is Great. Hello, Great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. My name is Great Opomu.
That's good to know. Can you please introduce yourself?
Of course, sure. Okay, so I am the founder of WPFlat, and WPFlat in the simple term, it's a WordPress agency. And for us, we are a bit specialized. Our focus is more or less leveraging the power of WordPress and existing plugins to build solutions for businesses, organizations, and that's our focus. And with the power of WordPress, we've been able to build some solutions that actually compete with enterprise solutions like event hosting platforms, enterprise e-learning platforms, and a lot more, which I think during the course I can share. So we actually are into WordPress because it's not just open source, but it helps us to do much more than we can even imagine at, I would say, without the complexities that comes with coding. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. And by the way, we have such an amazing name. But you're not used to use the great before of your name, so it's just an amazing. Just want to know, it's I know it's not aligned with our topic. This question is sure aligned with our topic, but we want to like where are you based in, and what's the idea behind your name? I'm so curious. We want to add into this podcast as well.
Certainly, you're not the first to ask this. Every international individual I meet who is not from Africa always ask that. And the name is more or less just saying, we say God is great. So that's the idea behind it. God is great. So great necessarily just reminds me that we can do great things with the help of God. So that's it. And so currently I'm originally a Nigerian, and so we WP Flat, it's a remote company, so we are based in the US. So I find myself also in my home country here in Nigeria. But like I said, we've been working with US and the UK. So but because it's remote, I have the flexibility to always be in my home country.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that your personal experience and what the reason behind having that name. William, let's deep dive into the actual person of the today's topic, right?
Listen, it definitely is a very good name, great name.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, since our topic for today is WordPress Beyond Design,
Yeah.
I would like to go a little bit to the past before we start. Do you remember what your first WordPress project was like?
Okay, my first website. It was actually for my school, the high school which I graduated from. And I can actually remember then it was really, really, I would say, a good website. But this is like, I because I started WordPress late 2016. That's when I started with WordPress. So I used to be like an intermediary PHP developer. So, but right now I can't call myself a developer. I have lost all the skills to be called a developer. But so WordPress was actually a way of escape for me to say, I want to actually build something quickly and I don't want to code. And so that's how I built my first WordPress project, it was just a website. That is a school website, basic. And that website, we have redesigned it like about 3 or 4 times now. So to tell you how much I have grown as an individual and then as a company.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, a fun fact, I actually helped create my own school's WordPress website. And fast forward some 10 years, I have also lost all credibility to be called a developer as well. So,
I agree with you. I do. And the fun fact is, since Paris have a own the computer science degree as well, and let me share a fun fact with you guys. There was a pioneer project that every last year student need to display, and they are presenting what's your degree of computer science? Literally, out of nowhere, they were displaying the websites that were developed with the help of WordPress. And the recruiter were just scanning the project. They were like, "Are you guys for real? Developing the website on WordPress and giving and submitting as your final project?" And they were like really shocked. What are you guys up to? You guys never learn about OOPS concept, C language programming language, JavaScript, nothing else. But they are just making up the word. That was it that I want to share. Like one of the funniest moments was because you shared like one of your project from the school time. So yeah, that I think all of us.
Yeah, it does. And
I think if
if you allow,
like the rite of passage. And at that time, WordPress was like everybody who knew WordPress was a developer.
yeah, actually, but why I say I don't have the right to call myself a developer because I'm coming from the developer's background. And technically, the developers I am with, Laravel, React, whichever. So I could say, well, I am not a developer in that context, but WordPress has made everyone, if you can, a visual developer. So you may not be doing the code itself, but you are a visual developer. And so my strongest argument I always give individuals, especially the professionals who, a lot of them say, no, why would I use WordPress when I can code it myself? And then I tell them it's what you actually want to use. That's all that matters and how to achieve the goal. Because if we begin the argument, that I would even tell you, you shouldn't use Laravel. You should actually start from scratch. Don't even use Laravel. And if we are going to go deep into the conversation, then I'll tell you, why don't you just invent your own custom code? Don't use PHP. And so at the end of the day, we all should just use what is available to solve a problem.
At the end of the day, I think in this time and age, we should all just put to prompt engineering for development projects.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. So sometimes when people talk about WordPress, they basically narrow it down to just templates and design.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is WordPress beyond and design beyond templates?
WordPress is a web solution, and I believe certainly it's beyond design. And I have always been advocating this, that it's beyond design, because for me, coming from a developer's background, I didn't come in just because I wanted to create good design, but I saw that these plugins which existed in the WordPress ecosystem are like packs of codes that I can bring together to build something more sophisticated. And I think the first ever interesting project I did with WordPress that was basically beyond design was when I actually built a virtual learning environment. So more or less, if you log into the WordPress site, it's literally like your Windows file explorer. So what happened was, student needed something that looks like a PC to access their files and all that. And I did that with WordPress. And so from there on, even if I believe that, I realized that WordPress can actually go deeper. So it's WordPress is beyond building a website for traffic, for sales, but WordPress can actually power your business's operations. So that's it.
Okay.
True.
Okay. Do you think using your own creativity and your own sense of design, the templates and design that are already there in WordPress can be adapted to something completely new?
So I didn't get that.
I'm saying using your own creativity or your brand values. Do you think the already present pre-built templates and designs in WordPress can be taken to another level?
Certainly. And I think for me, we've mastered that art, which is ensuring that when we have a template, it is built beyond just the existing template. And if you notice the market, especially when connecting a template with an existing brand identity, that means whatever that template is, you have to ensure that it is modified to fit into that brand. And so for me, I always have this concept. Nothing is actually new. Even if we are going to build our own custom design, not to use a pre-existing template, we will still get our inspiration from somewhere. Whether I can go to Figma to get some inspirations to do a custom theme or a custom template. And it's same thing of using templates as an inspiration and working on that, you can build something that actually doesn't just look good, but reflects a brand's identity.
Okay. Speaking of creativity, WordPress trends are always changing. One day you'll see all the websites have animations on them, and the next day you will see they're all static. So, what current I'm sorry,
Sure.
what current trends do you think are worth the hype, and how many of them are overhyped?
Currently, of course, we have the full block editing, which more or less happens to be a trend. The full block that's full site editing (FSE), and for me, it's actually okay. But at the same time, I say that has its place because the WordPress community, we have more individuals who are less technical than non-technical. So with the rise of page builders, we know about Elementor. Before Elementor, we knew very well about WP Bakery. Now we have other ones like Droid, and we have AQ Blocks also. So we have Beaver Builder. There are so many WordPress builders. And so with that, in as much as the full site editing functionality is being pushed, it's more like a trend now. I will still say that it will be adopted by the majority. That's just it. The majority will still lean towards these page builders because the page builders have set a standard, and that standard is ease. Till now, as much as we advocate Gutenberg, a lot of presses run away from Gutenberg and will stick with Elementor. Not because Elementor is just popular, but it's easier for the average user to actually do that. And then the other plugins that exist ensure that they are compatible with popular page builders. So, for example, let's talk about Jet Engine. Jet Engine adapts very well with uh, Elementor, adapts to an extent with Gutenberg, and we have other plugins that adapt with this popular page builder. So, what happens is that people will naturally work with the page builders that adapt widely to any or every plugin they would actually want to use. So full site editing is trending, but I won't say overhyped, not at all, but I would say that a lot will not adopt to it as much as the community is adopting to these popular page builders.
Okay. Can you share an example of website that is doing really good in terms of this?
Examples of websites that
Yeah.
are really good in terms of what exactly them get.
In terms of this trend.
Websites that are really good, if I get that question clearly, in terms of this trend, that's a full site editing.
Yeah, that could be. That could be. Also, what Marin trying to ask is like because we lately seen like couple of years ago, the whole site editing FSC was in the trend, right? And before that, we saw like Elementor was on the top of the town, and then have before that we had WP, right? So just you wanted to ask like, do you have any kind of example, or maybe that you maybe you have worked on any client side that are really close to those trends, like which can relate to FSC, or maybe I'm just wanted to add because I wanted to ask like any page builder that you think that would be the right best fit for your client that you have recently worked on. They're perfectly aligned with the trend, basically.
Well, for us, we have been using Elementor a lot. That's it. And we haven't. No, I get you. I could list some site I've seen that uses a full site editing. But currently, I'll tell you that the full site editing is more common in the enterprise level. So you have enterprises, newsrooms, digital publishers, or you have multi sites. So this full site editing actually, that's where the strength of full site editing comes in, like multi sites. So you can actually leverage on that. But currently, majority are actually not multi site. So for us, we have been using a lot of Elementor and then basic Gutenberg, and so not full site editing. And it's not that it's a weakness for us. Like I told you, for us, WPFlat, we are more focused on the technical excellence. And so what happens is that we want to deal less with design and focus on the technical parts. And so we use something that we can use to solve that and then go ahead. And like I said initially, we leverage WordPress plugins to build solutions. And so, and it's sometimes when we try to adopt just Gutenberg, the problem is a lot of the plugins which are available only adapt so well with Elementor. And so with that, we have to stick with what works to solve the problem for a client.
I have to write spot on the money, like as you said, like easy to focus on those issues. Like people discuss about the issues, and this is what I personally believe. Like, okay, there's an issue, and there should be a solution-oriented steps that ENT or somebody or being a founder you need to provide to the specific individual that these are the steps that we are going to offer you, or we are going to chip in, and that we are going to solve the issues. So I think this is the very prompt study from your perspective, and I really like, yeah. So yeah, Miriam, over to you. Like some other question from your side.
Okay. So moving forward, WordPress has came along a long way since it started, right?
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what technical feature has the biggest impact on how people use it today as compared to previously over the last few years?
It's AI. AI has changed. So AI has actually changed a lot of things. AI itself, it has. And I
Now.
Okay, for me, AI actually has the highest technical impact right now because the other day I was working with Lovable out of curiosity, and I actually built a headless WordPress site with Lovable. So WordPress was just the back end. And with AI right now, we plugins are fast adopting it. For example, we have WP Forms. WP Forms literally allows you to build your form with the help of AI. So usually before now, you have to be doing everything manually, but right now with AI, you can just do a lot of things. So it feels like, oh, it's just easy, but it is solving a lot of technical issues which could have taken a longer time. And so it's not a mistake that Automatic released Telex. And I have tried Telex a bit. So Telex is more or less the Lovable for WordPress. And it's actually enabling people right now to build simple plugins to solve solutions. So imagine I could build a calculator for the Gutenberg block with Telex, and I did that in about 10-15 minutes. This is something that you could have hired a developer to do, and you're going to pay some good amount of money. But with Telex, that problem is being solved. And so AI is fast becoming part of WordPress. And in as much as people would say, oh, AI would take over, things like Lovable will be there, no longer WordPress. But the reality is that I have a developer background. Lovable can be good for an MVP, but when you face a problem, then you realize that you actually need a developer. It looks good just to do something simple, but the maintenance and all that. And that is where WordPress will have its biggest strength. Because if I build an application with Lovable, I have to maintain a whole block of codes. But if I build a web application with WordPress, what happens is that WP Forms manages the form section. WooCommerce manages the e-commerce section. And so it's more or less you have a distributed team managing each of these codes. And then with the help of AI, things are made faster, but you cannot get that luxury with Lovable. And what people don't even say is that people who want to build even custom applications, they end up looking for developers who know how to code to fix their problems in Lovable. So with AI, WordPress is verily here to stay and not to even be left behind, but they are here to stay.
Yep, I agree. Like, but with AI, like a lot of people think like their jobs or their systems would be wiped out, but I don't think that because and you're second your thought process. As you mentioned about the example of the WordPress when you are developing with MVP, so that would be the different case. And when you are coming to solve the complex problem with a multi-site level, and there is no sign of a maintenance required, then there would be the part of WordPress would jump in definitely, and then on hands-on and directly would be solving the problem. And at that level, AI won't be able to have the what I think personally believe that AI is only important just to automate your process, just make them make them longer, saves the time and stuff like that. If you're not adopting AI, you are going to be behind. But you like AI is not something or like devastating our life. This is what I believe, right? So it is just for to make our life easy because there's a huge debate on like if AI is going to overcome the human or stuff like that. But I think like AI is just for the help. If we adopt it as early as sooner as we adopt it, it will be beneficial for us. If we do not adopt it like sooner, that is going to be like would be harm for us, like the stop in optimizing, increasing our creativity and stuff like that. So that's my take on that, and I 100% second your thought process.
On this point, I would also like to say that there's like this misconception, and I think I fight people fighting all the time over it that AI will make all the jobs obsolete, all of us will be jobless in the next 10 years, and that Matlab, I cannot bring myself tell you how weird that sounds. I mean, if it was the case, why would ChatGPT hire somebody for their content? They are hiring a content strategist with I have to say a very good salary package. It's not even as a junior role; it's a super senior role as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when an AI tool that it was originally developed for content, and after that it gave more things in so if a tool that was primarily developed for something and even they need a person for that, how can it ever take over our lives? Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually brings me to another question that I had to ask you.
Sure.
Where do you think all of these AI tools and these shortcuts are going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you think they would still be as relevant?
These AI tools, yes, they will certainly be relevant, but they will be more integrated to the tools we use every day. And so the tools which we use every day are not going to be obsolete. They will only evolve. So for as much as we like, okay, let me give an example with Lovable, for example. Before Lovable, it was always what you call headless WordPress, which is the coupled architecture. It has always been there. And now Lovable has come, but Lovable coming in, there is still a need for WordPress. But Lovable has made it easy to reduce the cost of managing the coupled architecture. And so you can see that in the next 5 to 10 years, you could then be seeing requests from clients like, we want our website to be designed on Lovable, but the WordPress should be the database for the content and all that. And it will then become a norm that what is required is Lovable and WordPress. So that is how I see it. So in the next 5 to 10 years, these tools we actually use will still verily be there, but AI would more or less be like a default. You must use AI in whatever you're doing. So I don't see them going obsolete. I only see them evolving to meet up with AI's standard or requirements.
Basically, it will be a collaboration between the human mind and the AI.
Exactly.
Okay, I think that is exactly how it should be. I mean, at one point we did rely on Google a lot, right? We used to Google everything. There was Stack Overflow, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If we think of it, ChatGPT and all of these new tools that helps us with code are glorified version of Stack Overflow.
Exactly. Exactly. You're right already, because at the end of the day, ChatGPT cannot give you an answer if it hasn't found it somewhere. Whether
Yes,
it's
exactly. I mean,
Quora. So
and even like when it was started initially, it used to give off the impression that it is thinking itself and stuff like that. But now even it has become clear itself. Now it gives you the sources where it has found something from. So
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, that brings me to our next question. So
Sure.
with WordPress, security and performance has always been the topmost factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
With your experience, what what do you think are the biggest security and performance mistakes that a company makes when it starts working with WordPress?
I've had a terrible experience also myself with security. And without a doubt, the first mistake is in the hosting. I'll give an experience that happened so like about few months ago with someone whom uh we sort of did a website for some time ago, and the person came to us like every time the website always goes down. Then what happened? There's only to mention the hosting company, but what happened was that because I'm used to troubleshooting.
Let's make it controversial.
So okay, it's fine. So it could not be it may not be Namecheap's fault. It may not be their fault, but this site was being hosted on Namecheap. And so what happened was that the site went down, and it's obviously a security issue. And so I decided to check the issue for myself, and I knew I resolved the issue. But then about 2 days later, the client came back and said, "Oh, we just had an issue again with our site." And then I was like, okay, okay. So upon checking, what happened was that the cPanel was infested with virus, not like the user's account was infested. And so I saw myself going to the bin folder to delete infested files. I'm like, why is this here? Not even inside WordPress. So I contacted support, and they said probably it could be from maybe an infection that happened from the website that transferred to the cPanel. And I said, okay, that's fine. So the solution was the the whole cPanel for that user had to be restored. That was the solution. And so the site wasn't mission critical, but if it was mission critical, it would not have been the best to use cPanel.
Yeah.
Because if I was using a managed cloud hosting or just a bare cloud hosting, what happens is that I am in control as a developer, in total control. But in this case, I had to contact support because the cPanel wasn't within my control, and they had to do it on their end. So imagine taking hours to do that, when if I had all the control, I would have been able to resolve that. Because part of security, it's not just preventing, but also solving a security breach on the go. And so if you do not have that whole flexibility to solve that, then it's dangerous. So in this kind of situations, what happens is that if as a client, you're not really aware of these technicalities, what could happen? You could blame the developer, or you could blame WordPress. WordPress is not secured and all that. But when in reality, the problem wasn't just about WordPress, was also about the host. And so hosting is number one. Very, very important. So if it's a simple site, go ahead. We have so many hosting platforms. Shared hosting, Namecheap is there, DreamHost is there. You have a lot of them. You can use them. But if it's mission critical, I always advise use the one that you have full control over, so that if anything happens, you can resolve it immediately. Because imagine an online store going off for about 2 hours. What happens? Lost sales, certainly.
Yep.
So nobody wants that. And so none of them are bad, but I'm just giving this example to make us see that you have to make the right choices depending on what you want to do with your website.
Uh, sorry, Wayne, for the interruption, but I get very, very, very exciting. Like, I become very excited when it comes to hosting part, because I've been working in the hosting for 6 to 7 years. So this is very. I'm really sorry for that client. That I'm really like glad that you fixed that issue. And I know there was not issue from the developers or from the WordPress side, but it was the hosting issue, and more specifically, it was the web hosting control panel issue, right? It was cPanel involved. Just for the fun fact, I think Namecheap should also promote CyberPanel on their on the line along with the cPanel, so
Yes.
people get more security in, because we support Immunify, we support Cloud Linux, we have weekly patches run, security patches run on weekly basis different for the client. Just one. And just wanted to make a cheap report to
Yeah, sure. I actually get you. I'll tell you why I get you. So For example, name DreamHost doesn't use a cPanel. They don't. And just as we say that WordPress is the most attacked CMS platform because it's the most popular, so also cPanel happens to also be the most attacked because it is popular. And so therefore you have so you have to do more on security. But like for DreamHost, I've really had any issue on security on that aspect because it's a custom host. And now you're talking about cPanel, which going through, it's more or less cPanel has a dedicated focus. CyberPanel has a dedicated focus, not just providing a whole suite of web functions like email and many other functions, but CyberPanel is actually focused on hosting and security because I know about CyberPanel, and in that aspect, it's only necessary that you also bring CyberPanel to the space because even if you want to use a shared hosting, then let's say we should use a panel like CyberPanel to help further increase security. It's a win-win situation, and as you said, I wish companies could give people choices over the panels to use, just as managed cloud hosting give people the choice to use, whether it's DigitalOcean or Limit or WordPress. Exactly. So there should be that flexibility to choose.
Okay, I think that's enough content for me to create a controversy.
Yeah, but it's all true story. It's reality. So this is not made up. So from my own experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's time for me to ask few questions, right? I think right, I'm allowed to over my questions, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. So as we already discussing about, like we have a huge potential, like great buyer persona and market segmentation for WhatsApp. It's about 39 to 40%, right?
Hmm.
So I think why this is like still there are a lot of other options with the AI involved. Why still people are opting for WordPress? Like, what do you think? Because you have been managing clients on daily basis. Like there could be a remember. So I'm developing this. I need a website for this. So what are the reason and why do you condense? Like not convince because clients are already coming for the WordPress site, right? So if somebody like for instance, let me give you a quick scenario. I'm coming for the PHP side, and you are convincing me no, PHP won't be a right solution for you. Just come with the WordPress. Like, why people are like so much down towards WordPress? Like, what are the reasons still? What's your take on this?
Well, I have been a strong. First of all, I've been a strong advocate of WordPress, and yeah, said a lot of people would want to put it down, and but first, because originally I've been serving clients from Nigeria before serving clients on the global space. One thing which from Africa I understood that it's also a problem with small businesses is its cost. Cost. WordPress is cost effective. It's just as simple as it is. With WordPress, you could have a website you're paying $5 per month for even the smallest business. And apart from that one, it is convenient. Let's even talk about building sites with AI. A lot of clients want to have an access to their website. They want to have a feeling that they are in control. And WordPress gives that feeling, gives that sense of ownership, that sense of control. And no matter the hype here and there, people want to own their thing. And so because WordPress gives that ownership, it will always be there. So even I myself, when I try to do some vibe coding to build, let's say, even quick landing pages, I know within myself that I want to have full control. I want to know what's going on. I want to be able to easily change. And I don't want one day that Lovable will say that, oh, maybe we don't offer this again, we don't offer that again. For many years that WordPress has been, everyone has had the control. Yes, from time to time, I see people talking about other platforms, Webflow, Squarespace, Wix, and all that. I do get that. And even in my style, I started using Wix. But like I said, ownership, ownership, which is very important. So if we build a solution for a client, We want them to understand that they own it and no other platform owns it. So, in as much as that word ownership may look small, but it is that same principle of ownership that drives us every day. We go to work because we want to have a sense of satisfaction. We are achieving something. And that same principle falls in when choosing a platform. So there are many others who don't even care what platform you use. That's true. So even with the hype of AI, there are still many more persons who don't even care about AI. Just give me a website. That's all I want. And so, however you do that, it's not my business. So, the AI hype is a lot in the technical field, but all the technical field, keep it's more like automation. Well, when automation first started, it was a hype. Oh, you can automate this, automate that. But for the customer, it's more or less you found a way to help solve their problem better. And so WordPress will always be there. And I think everyone is just doing their marketing. The Squarespace developer is doing their marketing how Squarespace is better than WordPress. The Wix developer, same thing. Everyone is doing their marketing. True. But we all know at the end of the day, the only reason why WordPress powers over 40%, it's because of ownership, costs, and the convenience that it offers.
Yep, absolutely right on the money and the ownership as well. Yeah, we're saying something.
Actually, it's like a spin-off question on your reply. I just wanted to know, since you are in a service providing industry, right? So what clients are easier to work with? The ones that give you the exact requirements, or the ones that say you can do whatever you want, they don't care about your AI or anything else?
Well,
Interesting.
it's the clients who gives less stress are the ones who have know what they want. And how I got to know that first, it's
Yeah, that's the main point. That's the main point.
yeah, exactly. So how I got to know that was when I started redesigning websites. Building a website is more for the first time, designing the website for the first time, it's more difficult than redesigning a website.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. I can
And
agree.
yes. And the reason it's not because naturally the first design ought to be more difficult. But what I've understood in the psychology is that any business who wants to redesign, they already know what they want. This is what it is, and these are the things we want to do. So what happens is that as a developer or a designer, you're working with the information, and then they're able to give them what they want. But when they don't know what they want, especially when they are just starting for the first time, they could wake up tomorrow and say, "Well, the about us page, I think this should be here, that should be here," and then before you know, we are all going back and forth. So like I said, clients who know what they want are the easiest. So it doesn't matter the industry or who know what they want, they are the easiest to work with. So that's why if you want to work with those who don't even care, don't even know what they want and all that, you should be ready to build them well so that when they come with their troubles, you know that the trouble has been paid for.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
But do you think there are any clients who know exactly what they want?
Yes, certainly. There are. So when I mean they know what they want, they may not understand the technicalities, but they have a brand vision, a strategy already in place. And so they know that in order to meet this their strategy, these are the things we need on the website area. So as a developer, you ensure that you're able to solve that technically for them. And so that's it. So they may not understand the technicalities or how everything works, but because they have a brand strategy, where they are heading towards and all that, that makes it a lot easier.
Okay. Yeah, my turn for the questions for you. All right. Okay. All right. So, as the company grows, right? So you have been you are into a scalable position because I understand like, uh, for now you like for example you have been serving hundred of clients at this moment, and yeah, for sure, in the next upcoming quarters you will be serving thousands of clients. So there are three major aspects of like when it comes to the scalability factor. There you need to be aligned with the tech. You need to be aligned with the design strategies. You need to also align with the operation studies as well. So when all of these three factors come to line, how do you manage and keep a balance among them?
What are the things you mentioned again? Operations was one of them.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
design and the tech. We know technology is evolving after every 6 months. Due to AI, everything is changing because there's I know I'm just forget the name of that application. Nano Banana, I think. Yeah, it will launch a couple of pieces and there's another computer aligned with that Nano Banana, right? So yeah, it's I think I don't want to feel again controversial again. It always US versus China, right? So yeah, I'm not sure should I talk about this or not, but it is always like Asia versus US, like Russia versus USA or US versus Thai, so something like that. So just wanted to add this like technology because technology evolving after every 6 months, after a year, and there's a whole shift after a decade. So just wanted to know like how do you keep a balance between tech, operation strategies, and the design?
Well, for me, it's simple because, as you said, we grew every day, and just as we grew every day, everything grows, technology grows, and all that. So for me, how I ensure that they align is the end goal. What is the end goal? What do we want to achieve? And so, as long as we know the end goal, even if technology evolves very, very deep or very high, we would work with that part of technology that helps us to achieve the goal in the best way. So, for example, if a client or a business, what they want is they want to be able to, let's say, streamline their applicants, that's job applications. They want to streamline the job applications. That's the end goal. So before the era of AI, we could just build a form and then push it to Excel. And then with Excel, it could then check through who fits in and then hire that person. But now with AI and automation, they will fill the form. And then with the rise of agentic AI, what happens is that AI helps to then filter immediately who fits and who doesn't fit in. And then rather than trying to search through 2,000 potential employees, you're left with like 50 of them. And with that, you can then choose who you want. So with that process, technology may have changed, design may have changed, strategy may have changed, but because the end goal is there, all it requires for the expert is ensuring that the goal is achieved. So the only thing I would say is as technology evolves, what it pushes us to do is to ask ourselves, this is how it is done, but how can we do it better with less stress? And that's where technology, when it evolves, like AI has helped us to spend less time to achieve a goal. And so if you still use the old way, what happens is that you're not just bringing difficulty or stress upon yourself, but you are making the end goal to be the time taken to achieve that end goal, you are making it slower. And so, but AI just helps to speed up how much time it takes to get to that end goal. So AI is part of technology. So that's what I mean. As it evolves, as tech evolves, then it takes less time to achieve our end goal.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a great clarity on your goals and what you are looking for, what you need to achieve in some certain time. So if you have a clarity on that part, the like other aspect, like when as I talk about the design, operational, and the strategy, would be and the tech as well would be aligned properly if you have the great clarity on the milestone and what you are where you want to be in the next coming months, right? So moving forward with that, so we know that WordPress is cost effective, and most of the people come towards WordPress because it's cost effective, budget friendly. So we understand like if I have a website where based daily uh, 20 10 to 20 users on a daily basis. But there's a part like once you are done with the startup page, you also look for the scalability because you want to become a mid-sized company, right? When it comes to the scalability part and keeping the budget in mind, like I do not have much budget to spend on my technology stuff. Like I cannot put scalability on my server side. I don't want to spend much on those things. So in order to for you in such kind of a situation, what do you suggest and how do you help your clients to promote in and like help in such scalability piece?
That's where we,
Keeping the budget in mind, which is like really important.
yeah. So let's say in reality, maybe a client is an online store or an e-learning platform, whichever they are just getting. Let's say an e-learning platform, and because we know that e-learning platforms they actually take a lot, but let's say they are just getting started. It would not be. Let's say their budget is. We have to be realistic. There are a lot of businesses they do not want to even spend over $100 per month. A lot of small businesses. So that $100 could cover the hosting and then the technical support every month. And you ask yourself, how are you going to do this? So for such kind of clients who want good, a good solution with that e-learning platform, and at the same time, they want to ensure that nothing wrong happens. So in that case, I'll have to sit down and ask what solution will set them best. If I go for WPNG, that's actually an unwise decision. As good as WPNG, it's an unwise decision. So then we could say, let's use something that is fair enough, but also gives the power of cloud hosting. So, like for us, we've been using Cloudways a lot, but let's take, for example, even CyberPanel. So, CyberPanel could help me leverage the power of DigitalOcean and still, so I could still have my dedicated server without it being shared. So, yeah, with such kind of solution, rather than the person paying maybe $50, $60, it could end up paying anywhere between $10 to $20 per month. That's trying to solve the immediate technology need. And then the other thing is choosing a proper solution. So it doesn't mean because it's cheap, that's it. There are many other providers out there. But for example, when you look at CyberPanel, there's one key feature which is very important in itself, which is Immunify. And a lot of hosting companies are beginning to have that. And for Immunify itself, the beauty is that it doesn't just only scan, it becomes proactive to help you remove the viruses, whatever is affected. So now I could easily choose a cheap hosting platform that doesn't provide that functionality, but the client may end up spending more because when something happens, everywhere there's unrest.
Yes.
But exactly. But with Immunify, it will reduce that because when the virus comes, almost immediately it detects it and then quarantines it and can go ahead to delete it. Now with such, what happens is that I myself, I could then say, okay, since it's $100, we'll manage the hosting for you and the security, the plugins and all that. So at the end of the day, we are able to solve a vital problem for them. So the reality is that you have to help to choose a proper solution for them that would minimize their cost, not just because it's easy. Why I speak from experience in the past, unlike now, we have clients who are okay with as long as the hosting is the best. But there's still a reality that there are more small businesses than the big businesses. There is a lot of them. And so it's not fair for you to assume or treat them like big businesses or enterprise businesses. You have to come to the level which they are in. And so just help them choose a technology that fits their need. And also with that, it helps them and also helps you. Because for example, before Immunify became popular, you could spend 5 hours, 6 hours trying to remove a virus. I tell you, to spend so much time. And per hour, you could be $20 per hour if it's very cheap. And 6 hours, that's already a lot. That's already a lot. But with Immunify, what happens is that I literally don't have to do anything. You understand?
Yes.
So with that, you are not just saving yourself, but you're saving the client.
Yep, exactly. And the best part which I took from this particular explanation, that you always need to work on your mitigation plan, right? And which is like really important.
Exactly.
And you give the right example of the hosting, switch between the hosting in terms of scalability. So hosting is one of my favorite topic. If I start talking about on the hosting, because these and we might require another hour in order to talk about or either more hosting stuff. So just want to wrap up with few questions. Just want to ask, like, is there any underrated plugin that you have been using and not too many people know about it? Any underrated plugin, or maybe it could be multiple underrated plugin that that nobody like is just not very famous, but is very underrated.
Yeah, as I said that, I actually remember a plugin. Sincerely, I don't even know where that plugin is anymore, but someone developed it. It's not even in the WordPress directory, but it's a simple plugin that usually solves a lot of problem for some of our few clients who want to use Elementor for form submissions. So with that plugin, what happens is that, because by default you must be sort of an administrator to be able to view the form submissions, but that plugin enabled even editors to be able to view what Elementor form submissions.
Wow.
So it's I don't even know where it is, but I know I was actually researching at the time, and I found it, and we've been using that plugin. And so,
What is the name of the plugin?
sincerely, I can't even remember right now, except I have to find it here. I can't even remember, but it has actually solved a big problem even in the Elementor space. And so sometimes it feels like there are some things that should be out there, but they are not out there. And aside that, I think it's becoming popular now, which is all-in-one WP migration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before now, it wasn't.
And yes, you're
But
right.
I have been using it a lot. And the the best part of that plugin we always experience is that of the speed of export, the speed of import. And it's actually, at the time, it was overlooked until recently, are more common than ever. And I would say right now there are still several plugins, and one of them we ourselves we are still looking into is it's just coming up. It's relating to e-learning, which is we recently discovered that that's Masterio, and it's a bit different. It's not as widely adopted now as Tutor LMS, but it's solving a major problem in e-learning that Tutor LMS hasn't attended to, Lendash hasn't attended to. And one of the solution it's offering is video security. So currently you have to sort of connect third parties in order to be able to use tutorial. For example, when we built one of the enterprise learning platforms, we had to connect Presto Player with tutor elements to ensure that okay, it actually ensures that okay, it's secure. But Masterio does that inbuilt. And before Tutor LMS even release what we call, which I know is still in progress, on what you call in payments, where you can make payments without WooCommerce, Masterio has been solving that already. So yeah, and it's one plugin where you can actually take your video from wherever you, let's say on let's say DigitalOcean, for example, you put the video in the DigitalOcean storage spaces. Masterio helps you to ensure that just put in the link and it gives you the video. So it's still, it's not so popular yet, but it's actually solving, yes, it's actually, I would say, competing with these guys. So the only reason why we would say would have issues with it if we have is on the design area. And like I said, that's the problem we usually have. The more a plugin becomes popular, the more people would want to ensure it adapts to popular page builders like what Elementor. But currently, that's not it. But That's one plugin. If you check it out, see out the features. And white label, of course, it actually supports white label, which Tutor LMS doesn't even do that at all. And so,
And it doesn't.
yes,
And it doesn't for me.
yeah, no, for their paid plan, okay, but it's similar with Tutor LMS paid plan. So with their paid plan, you get nearly all the same features that Tutor LMS actually gives.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've explored it a lot, and indeed, it has really been beautiful, and it even supports the default dark and light mode without any extra plugin. It does that by itself. So that's currently, I would say it's underrated, and hopefully, as they grow, it would actually, because I see a lot of potential in it. So those are one of the tools I know that I can clearly remember, but I don't know if I have any tool. Okay, we all know that already. File Manager, especially when you don't want to do SSH. Maybe you want to upload a file in the WordPress directory itself. With File Manager, you can actually be able to do that with your WordPress at the backend. So you don't need to log into your cPanel to go to File Manager to upload something. So that solves it too. So these are the tools I can remember right now. But I know there are lots more because I have, over my time of using WordPress, I've come across thousands of plugins that I have used myself because that's where our expertise is. Okay, I did tell you why our expertise fell into that place, maximizing WordPress plugins itself. If I will, I can explain a bit why that falls into the expertise, if there is time.
Awesome. That was a pretty much great list. WP migration, like it's already on my list as well. Just need to check with the unnamed plugin. If you got a chance to find that plugin, please do you share the link with me on LinkedIn. I will keep asking on that thing. Later.
Okay. Yeah, I will certainly look for that and share. We currently use it on one of our client sites, so some few clients. So I will check through the site and
Okay,
then share. Yeah.
sure. All right, it's time for us to move for the wrap up part. I would give the floor to the Marian just to have a now wrap up step at Gilly. If she has any questions which she can ask, and otherwise we are looking forward to have a wrap up section. Before we wrap up, do you have any suggestion for the newbies, WordPress developers, agencies who are just wanted to start their own WordPress agency or anything that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, for me, I wish I had done some training on this a long time ago. But the thing is that people are overwhelmed with what plugin to use, what design to use, and all that. But for me, if you're just getting started with WordPress, be a strategist. So that's what I would say. Be a strategist. What I'm saying so is WordPress is already more like a technical partner, but be a strategist because it is when you are a strategist, you are able to bring to life what your clients want that aligns with their business goals. That should be the number one priority. And if you are able to do that, what happens is that it pushes you to the limit, especially when you're just getting started. But that's what makes you stand out. I tell people, yes, we originally started from Nigeria, but the only reason we are now working with global clients, it's because we went beyond the technical and sit down on every project to see how can we solve this client's problem to ensure that it achieves their business objectives. And with that, that has always made us to stand out. So because everyone knows how to use a plugin or anything, what makes you stand out is your strategic thinking.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a really good point for any business startup agency to take off. Uh, the first focus should always be on the strategy. The technical parts will, come later, or you can pay someone to do that for you.
Yeah.
But the strategy, you need to have one to actually excel in any field.
Yeah.
So it was very nice talking to you. It was actually great talking to you. Great. Yeah, super insightful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
That's all from our side. If you have something to say.
So I would only say that I'm grateful that I'm able to speak to share my knowledge and my background on WordPress.
We're also extremely grateful for you that you took out the time and came.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
All right, great. Thank you, Shweta, and take care. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye. Yeah.